You want to be so successful that your own mother doesn't recognize you. I know what you want. You saw my last video. You saw the video before my last video. I've been dropping this knowledge on you guys for the past 3 months, and now you're hooked. And you're waiting for me to give you the details. So far, I've only given you the steps. And contrary to what you might believe, the steps are easy to find. I'm not some sort of secret genius. I didn't break the code. The steps are common sense. You know the steps, but you're waiting for somebody to hand you a secret, a hack, a shortcut, because you don't want to put in the work. I already said it, but I'll repeat it really quick for you here. The first step is knowing who you are as a person, as an individual, knowing what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what you enjoy, what you want to do, where you want to go, who you want to be, understanding yourself fully. The second step is finding out what your passion is. Finding out what makes you tick, what makes you excited, what makes you happy. Finding out what brings you a love of life, a love, a joy of existing. What is that thing? What makes you tick? What makes your heart race? What hobby, what task can you do nonstop, day after day, without anybody telling you need to do it? Doing it because you love doing it, because you want to do it. Doing it for the love of the game, not because you want money, not because you want clout, not because you want fame, not because you want success, not because you want people to look at you. Doing it because you genuinely love doing it. What is that thing? The third step is to become obsessed with that thing once you find it. Once you find that passion, once you find that one thing that makes you want to continue going, putting all of your energy into it, becoming obsessed, becoming the best at it, putting in the work. This is the step that people always ignore. People want to get the handout. People want to get to the top, but they don't want to put in the work. And while you're putting in the work, you need to follow the fourth step. The fourth step is to understand supply and demand. Understand where that passion fits into the market. And then package your passion into a product or a service. And while you're doing that, the only way for you to figure out where it fits in the market is by telling other people what your passion is. Stop being afraid. Stop hiding your gift. You need to tell other people what your passion is so that they can tell you where you fit in the market. And those are the 4 primary steps to becoming successful in this life. Now, the one thing I haven't been doing lately, even though I've been telling you guys these steps and telling you guys it's easy to find the steps because we all intuitively know what the steps are. When you were a kid and you had a passion for something, you didn't need a teacher to tell you to do it. You didn't need your parents to tell you to do it. You did it because you loved it. You weren't trying to get rich. You weren't trying to get famous. You weren't trying to be popular. And if you really locked in and you stuck to your guns your entire life, then you probably are rich and famous by now. The kids that were playing guitar because they loved guitar became masters at guitar. The kids that were sketching and making drawings because they loved to draw became master artists. In my own life, I wanted to build an app. I taught myself to code. I was passionate about it. I told other people about my vision. Other people directed me towards companies. And before I knew it, I was making a ton of money. Super duper successful because I stuck to my guns. I stuck to my passion and it paid off big. And now I'm here talking to you. That everybody knows this. This is not rocket science. The problem is that most people don't want to put in the work. And that's where we begin. Putting in the work. In this video, I'm going to go over the first step. The first step is the most important step. It's the step that all these internet gurus, all of these course sellers, all of these seminars, all of this stuff that people sell you, telling you that they're going to help you get to the top, skip. And if you really want to have a foundation that will last for the rest of your life, it's a step that can't be skipped. It's a step that has to be constantly revisited. Do you know how many times I went back and found out who I am? I invested my time reading, isolating myself, and learning what my passions were. And then I worked on those things, and after a while, I forgot who I was again. And I had to go back and revisit it. You can't neglect the self. And you might be wondering, how the hell do you get to even figure out who you are? How do you do it? Tell me, Scott. It's really simple, but you're not going to like the answer. You're not going to like the answer. The answer is distancing yourself from everything that affects your ego directly. TV, your friends, even the hobbies, everything. Self-isolation, meditation, self-reflection. Right now, I'm making this video and even I'm struggling with this. Social media adds another layer to this that makes it extremely difficult for you to find yourself because you're constantly bombarded with new ideas, information overload. So I'm not going to lie to you and act like I am a perfect person and I know exactly how to find myself. I've done this many times in my life. When I learned how to code, I had to find myself first. And I remember it was a natural process for me. Intuitively, there comes a moment where you start to feel like you're lost. And when you get that feeling of being lost, that's when you need to start separating yourself from all of your burdens and looking inside of yourself to find out what it is, what needs to be calibrated, like a watch, just like a watch. I'm not going to lie to you. Right now, my calibration is a little bit off. I'm a few weeks, a few days from just cutting off the internet and looking inside to figure out what direction I need to go in next. When I learned how to code, I spent months by myself. Months reading, writing, journaling, documenting how I felt. Clearing my mind, detoxing from all of the social media, from all of the people, the overthinking, letting go, getting loose, bettering my body, working out. I realize now is a big component of this. Avoiding contaminating yourself with any outside influences until you really understand who you are now. And the reason you need to go back and revisit this multiple times during your life is because at every stage of life, you change. You become something different. You become somebody new. So you need to go back and figure out what it is that changed about you. This is not an easy game to play. I hate to break it to you. And this is the reason why everybody's not successful. If it was easy, everybody would be a multimillionaire. Everybody would have a successful business. Everybody would be talented. Everybody would be on top. Finding the steps is the easiest part. Finding this step, knowing who you are, is something that people have told you your entire life. I'm not the first person telling you this. You were told this since you were a little kid until now. But it's not easy to do. It's not easy because you have all of these obligations as an adult. You have all kinds of people telling you what to think, who to be. You got the pressure of society on you. You got your job. You got everything against you completing this task. But once you lock in and you start to complete the task, everything in your life will change. It's the first step. It's the foundation of becoming successful. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. If you don't know yourself and you start the journey without following that step, you skip that step, everything else will crumble eventually. There's no foundation. This is the reason why you see so many people become successful super fast and then they crumble because they didn't know who they were as an individual. This is why you see people get a giant lump sum of money and they squander it, they lose it all because they didn't know who they were as a person. They didn't have any mental fortitude. They didn't have any convictions. They didn't even know what direction they wanted to go in. How are you supposed to be successful if you don't know what direction you're going in? You have no compass. Your compass is broken. And you go on the internet trying to find somebody else that's going to tell you what direction to go in. The blind leading the blind. You need to follow the process. So the first thing you need to do is just get away from everything. Get away from everything. Go read some books. And when I say read some books, for the love of God, I don't mean motivational books. I don't mean business books. I don't mean any book that's going to influence the way you think about your life. Go read some fiction. Go read some books that are going to put you into a character. Some sci-fi. Some books that are going to build up empathy and critical thinking skills, but that don't influence your goals directly. Too many people fall into the same problem that they have with social media. They start reading a bunch of motivational books and they get analysis paralysis. The purpose of you separating from the internet and reading the books is so that you disassociate from this motivational thought process. I don't want you to be motivational. I want you to be focused on who you are. Forget about what society tells you is success. Forget about the goals. Focus on you as the person. How do you feel? Be in the moment. And the reason I say go read a book is because reading a book will stimulate your brain actively. You'll envision yourself on another planet. You'll envision yourself on an adventure. You'll have quiet moments to work on your visualization because it's going to be a tool that you can use later. When you get to the point where you know who you are and what you like, and you start to explore those things, the skill of visualizing and having empathy that you got from reading the books that were fiction, nonsense entertainment books, you'll be able to apply that skill in your real life. When you focus too much on the outcomes, especially in this very first step, you'll only become more and more lost. Forget about the goals. Forget about the outcomes. Focus on yourself. Go for a walk in nature. Go get some fresh air. Go swim. Go for a jog. Go work out. This is your opportunity to start working out if you don't work out already. And in those moments when you're working out between sets, don't go pick up your phone and look at social media. You need to be off of social media in this time of searching for yourself. Between sets, I want you to analyze your thoughts. How do you feel? Where are you? What sensations do you feel in your physical body? This is your opportunity to get in touch with your physical body and your mental state. Start to remember your childhood. It's important for you to have a mental state of a child when you're trying to find yourself, when you're trying to find your passion. But don't get ahead of yourself. We're not looking for your passion yet. We're still trying to find out who we are as an individual. I'll make a whole nother video about finding your passion. Sit in silence, think, Contemplate your existence. Contemplate your mortality. I almost said immortality. Holy shit. I wish. I wish. Contemplate your demise. Make sure that you're conscious that you only have a limited time on this planet, in this existence. One of the things that keeps me grounded is that very thing, knowing that one day I'm going to die. You don't have all the time in the world. This is your one opportunity. Your one opportunity to do something with your life. And as soon as you realize that, it will be easier for you to ground yourself, because that's all you're really doing is grounding yourself. Grounding yourself in who you are as a person. Remembering who you are as a person. Going back in time, remembering your childhood, remembering your hobbies, remembering how you felt doing those hobbies, and searching for that feeling. You know, you might not have the same passions as an adult. You might not have the same sensations as an adult. But when you feel that feeling that you had when you were a kid coming back, you'll know you're there. You'll know you found what you were looking for. And once you find what you were looking for, once you find your identity, it's time for you to embrace it. Embrace it. Don't let anybody change who you are. When you find your identity, it's time for you to really observe it, look closely at it, and say, what parts of this identity are really me, truly who I am, and what parts have been grafted onto my identity in order for me to get validation from the people around me. And this is your opportunity while you're grounded, before you start working on your passions, before you start locking in and doing a bunch of stuff, for you to tear off the things that have been grafted to your personality that serve no purpose. The overanalyzing, the anxiety, the worrying. This is your opportunity to get rid of depression. It's your opportunity to get rid of anxiety. It's your opportunity to get rid of that emptiness that you feel that forces you to search for validation. You only get this opportunity every few years. You really do. But it's not going to be easy. It's going to be painful. Everything in life, anything that is worth it, always comes at a cost. Like I said, I'm struggling with this right now. Right now, and I know you are too if you're watching this video. If you're subscribed to my channel, you've been watching my latest videos, you must be feeling the exact same thing that I'm feeling. You're feeling that fatigue, that burden that social media, the internet, people have put on you. The chaos of it all, the fakeness of it all. I know exactly what you're experiencing because I'm experiencing it too. The intervals between resets are getting shorter and shorter and shorter because of the amount of information that is getting poured on each and every one of us. And you can choose to allow that amount of nonsense, hysteria, hatred, chaos to envelop you and wash away who you are as a person, turn you into an NPC. That's the easy route. Or you can fight back, separate yourself from the slop, and figure out who you are as a person, who you really are, what you really want to do. The choice is yours. The choice is genuinely yours. I can't force you to do it. The only thing I can tell you is that every time I've gone through this process of finding who I am, what I want to achieve as a person in this existence, in this life, that I've come out stronger and more successful in the long run. Every time I've made this journey, this pilgrimage, you could call it, I've come out the other end different, evolved. Personal growth is not easy. It isn't. And everybody around you is selling you the dream. You got to ignore those people. The majority of them don't know what they're talking about, or they're telling you stuff that worked for them but didn't work for everyone else. Because they're not sticking to the basics. I'm giving you the basics. And I don't even need to do this. I am being an echo chamber right now. You already know what I'm telling you is true. How could it not be true? What other alternative is there other than knowing who you are as a person and making that your foundation? There isn't any. That's the only way moving forward. I don't understand how people are so blind to this reality. It's not rocket science, people. You're contaminated. We're all contaminated. Every single day that we spend on the internet watching slop, every single time we go to the office and interact with that coworker that tells us that our ideas are silly, they were dumb, every time we get into an argument with our significant other and they put us down, that's you taking one step further away from who you are as an individual. It's you losing yourself in that wave of emotions that overwhelms you. Everybody has a core. Yes, your personality is a reflection of what other people impose on you, but you have a core. And there's many different ways to do this. You know, I don't want to condone drugs, but an easier route might be taking something like ayahuasca. I don't recommend it. I've seen people go too far. They grabbed their identity like an Etch-a-Sketch and they lost who they were. It's much better to just do it the natural route. It's going to be harder. I hate to break it to you, but it will pay off in the end. And once you find out who you are and you find your core, then we can move to the next step, which is finding your passion.